Number 5. If you're a casual gamer like me who wants to experience the DLC, this build is a very good option. The playstyle is simply to hold our shield up while attacking behind it. The shield blocks all the attacks, so we stay safe. We will stagger the boss in the boss fight. A few pokes right after the bleed and followed by a critical hit. This combo does a ton of damage. When we are in the open field, bleed and stagger can even happen at the same time. For bosses that are immune to bleed, we either change our lance affinity to a cult for higher damage or simply use another weapon with higher damage. I chose to use Serpent Hunter for some boss fights. Leave your comment below if you found any better or new weapon to use in the DLC. For Ash of War, the best choice is Crack Blade or Seppuku. Crack Blade increases our physical damage as well as stance damage, which are what we need. Seppuku adds 30 flat physical damage on our weapon. The self-inflicted bleed will buff our damage if we choose to use the Lord of Blood's Exaltation and the White Mask classic combo. To my own experience, we don't really get much chance to reapply our Ash of War during the boss fights. If we do get the chance, we probably will rebuff our shield. So Ash of War is not that important in my opinion, as we only get the buff at the beginning of the fight while its effect lasts. For shield, Fingerprint Stone Shield is the best in slot in my opinion. It has a high guard boost value, which costs less stamina when we block. Super important to our build. It also has 100% physical damage resistance and very decent non-physical resistances as well. We can also customize the Ash of War on it. I apply no skill Ash of War on it, so I can use the Ash of War on our weapon without swapping. Pay attention to the affinity of the Ash of War. Pick any one from Standard, Heavy, Keen, Quality, and Occult to give us 100% physical resistance. This should be the go-to choice. While we can also consider Magic Affinity to give us 96% magic resistance versus 77% if the boss does the majority of magic damage. In the DLC, there is a new shield called Verdigris Great Shield, which is another solid option. It has 1 point less in weight than the Fingerprint Stone Shield, and also has higher guard boost value. The new shield also provides 100% physical resistance, but with less non-physical resistances. Notice that the new shield cannot be customized with the Ash of War. I missed the quest to get the new shield in my playthrough, which is a pity, so if you get a chance to play with it, let me know how it works. I constantly keep the first 3 slots using Two-Headed Turtle Talisman, which is an upgraded version in the DLC for stamina recovery, Erdtree Favor plus 2 for more stamina, HP and equipped load, Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman for a vast amount of physical damage negation. For the 4th slot of Talisman, it is very flexible. If we know the main damage type of a boss, use the corresponding damage negation talisman. For example, Spell Drake Talisman for magic damage negation, Flame Drake Talisman for fire damage negation, etc. If we are not sure about the damage type, we can put on Pearl Drake Talisman for all non-physical damage negation, and we have a +3 version of this talisman in the DLC. We also have a new Pearl Shield Talisman to boost all non-physical damage negation when we are guarding. This is perfect for our build. When we are exploring in the open field, I would like to put on Assassin's Christmas Dagger Talisman to get HP back when we do a critical hit. We can also use new Crusade Insignia Talisman to raise our attack damage after defeating an enemy, or Blade of Mercy to raise our attack damage after each critical hit. Another weapon is Staff. Any staff can work to cast the Scholar's Shield buff, even though we don't meet the staff's requirement of intelligence. I use Staff of Loss simply because it has lighter weight comparing to other staffs. The most important stat is Endurance, simply because we need a lot of stamina to attack while guarding with our shield. As Bloody Lance scales with Strength, Dexterity, and Arcane, we have 50 points in Strength, 40 points in Dexterity, and 30 points in Arcane. Arcane also helps inflicting blood loss. Then we have 50 points in Vigor, 12 points in Intelligence to be able to cast our Scholarship Scholar Shield buff. We don't need any point in mind or faith. I started this character at level 150. The difference between the level 150 character and what we see here is that we have 10 more points in vigor and all of the rest into endurance. Our physic focuses on the stamina using Green Burst Crystal tier for stamina recovery and the Green Spill Crystal tier for maximum stamina. As for our armor choices, we can wear heavy pieces as long as we can medium roll. As we level up and pump points into endurance, we can wear more heavier armor pieces. This is a very effective and simple to play build, but it doesn't mean that we can just blindly hold our shield up and poke like a no-brainer. We still need to manage our stamina wisely. We will get hit if the stamina runs out. Number 4. Spinning Gravity Thrust easily hits 10k, 16k and even 20k damage on the bosses with its continuous attacks. It is a new coolly designed Ash of War in the Elden Ring DLC. The playstyle is very satisfying. We cast the Spinning Gravity Thrust skill to drill on the bosses, and we press the same button again to do the follow-up, continuously drill on the bosses until we win. You can see our HP bar is also coming back while we attack. This is simply because we use the Millennia's Great Rune. Our attack will restore HP after we take any damage. This is nice to keep us alive and continue on our drilling. In the open field, I don't have to mention how strong the Great Sword can be. Most often, 1 or 2 shots the monster, and the Spinning Gravity Thrust skill is very good for AoE damage. There are already a couple of builds out there, but I don't think they are quite optimal for a character around level 150, and I barely saw any proof that it can clear the final boss yet. This build is definitely capable of, and I will show the fight in a separate video. We get the Ash of War by defeating the Wild Boar Raider. We trade the Remembrance to get Sword Lance, and then we can infuse its Ash of War, but only on the Colossal Swords and the Great Katanas. We will choose Colossal Swords over the Great Katanas for higher weapon damage. In the Colossal Swords, our old friend Great Sword is the winner. If we get to very high level later, Watchdog's Great Sword can be a little bit better, but for level 150, Great Sword has the best weapon damage. There are 2 popular ways to inflict bleed for more damage. One is to use bleed infusion, but due to the scaling, we need to invest more points that we don't have. Another way is to use the Blood Flame Blade buff. It inflicts blood loss and also looks cool. The best infusion for Blood Flame Blade is Heavy Infusion, which has 8 scaling on strength. Because we two-handled the weapon, we get 1.5 multiplier on our strength investment, which is very effective. This is what our final weapon looks like, a plus 25 heavy great sword. We use a kin sword with Sabuku on it to inflict self-bleed and get the buff before the fight. The Claw Mark Seal plus 25 has the Blood Flame Blade because it scales well with both strength and faith. We use Wet Mask to get 10% damage increase when bleed happens. The rest of the armor pieces are from the new Rakshasa set to give us 2% damage increase per piece. This combination gives us 54 poise, which is quite nice. As for talismans, we use Millicent's Prosthesis and Rotten Wind Sword Insignia to heavily buff our consecutive damage. Guard of Alexander to give us 15% increased damage. We use Lord of Blood's Exaltation to increase our damage by 20% when bleed happens. Depending on what type of damage the boss is doing, we can swap it for defensive talismans, such as Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman to increase physical damage negation, or Golden Braid to increase holy damage negation. We use Thorny Corrector tier for consecutive damage boost. The second tier can be Blood Sucking Corrector tier for 20% damage increase, or Opaline Harder tier for damage negation. A very quick scan through the gear looks like this. The recommended stats for a level 150 character are 60 Vigor, 26 Mind allows us to cast the Spinning Gravity Thrust 4 times, including the follow-ups. This is sufficient for all the bosses I fought. 37 Endurance exactly to allow us to medium roll with our gear. 54 Strength to maximize our weapon damage. As we are two-handling, it hits the 80 point of the cap. Exactly. We need 12 Dexterity, but we also wear Millicent's Prosthesis, so 7 Dexterity is the minimum. 25 points in Faith, cast the Golden Vow and the Blessing Spoon. Exactly 10 points in Arcane, cast the Blood Flame Blade. We drink our physic and cast the Blessing Spoon to give us some HP regen. If you have 38 faith, you can cast Blessing of the Erdtree to get better HP regen. We cast the Golden Vow into Iron Jar or Blood Boil Aromatic, then Sabuku to inflict Soft Bleed. Then cast the Blood Flame Blade, refill HP and FP, and we're ready for the fight. Let me know if you have better ways of playing the build. Like, comment and sub, keep us going. Thanks for watching. Number 3. Many videos out there claim that they found this weapon to be the strongest DLC bleed weapon at the moment. But I think it is a scam. What? This is a cross Naginata build that I played a year ago. The major difference is the weapon. Before we dive deeper on the comparison, let's check out how this build is performing in both the base game and the DLC. Of course, we killed Godric before his face transition. Morgott didn't get a chance to do his explosion before being defeated. To my surprise, we killed the Wild Boar Rider without him jumping into the sky and cast the gravity spell at all. The fight simply finished that fast. Over 30k continuous damage on Renana, close to 30k on the Golden Hippo, almost 20k damage to Mesmer's Phase 2. We got him killed without doing much. You got the idea how powerful this build is. Let's dive into the weapon comparison. First, we look at the scaling of Occult Affinity. Blood Finn's Fork many scales with Arcane at A. Cross Naginata many scales with Arcane as well, but at B. This is probably why folks think that we found the best new weapon. However, have we noticed that the base damage is different? The base damage for Blood Finn's Fork is 220, while it is 263 for Cross Naginata. Big difference there, right? Now, let's fully upgrade both the weapons to plus 25, all using Occult Affinity. We have 80 points in Arcane, with other stats meeting the requirements of the weapons. Blood Finn's Fork has 107 blood loss build up and 560 damage. On the other hand, Cross Naginata has 100 blood loss build up and 651 damage. So, 7 blood loss build up is to trade for about 16% damage. Cross Naginata is the clear winner here. We can do the same comparison for the blood affinity. Since the scaling for blood affinity is not quite the same on the two weapons, we will not show the tedious comparison here. In general, Blood Finn's Fork will have around 25 points of more blood loss build-up, but with about 10% less damage. So, Cross Naginata is still the winner in my opinion. Please leave the comment below. Let me know your thought. It is quite easy to play this build. We either power stancing using the L1 attacks or jump attack with power stancing. Both attacks are super fast and powerful. The damage itself is very decent, and we trigger bleed in just 2 to 3 hits, which is absolutely insane. I often use both attacks in the open field, but focus on power stancing for the boss fight. We dual wield plus 25 Cross Naginatas with Sabuku Ash of War and infused with Occult Affinity. It many scales with Arcane at B with 100 blood loss build-up. Any seal with or without leveling works for this build. We use Wet Mask, get 10% damage increase when bleed happens. The rest of the armor pieces are from the Rek Sasha that give us 2% damage increase per piece. This combination gives us 54 points, which is quite nice. As for talismans, we use Millicent's Prosthesis and Rotten Wind Sword Insignia to heavily buff our consecutive damage. Two-headed Turtle Talisman to increase our stamina recovery. Yes, we need a lot of stamina to continuously attack. We use Lord of Blood's Exaltation to increase our damage by 20% when bleed happens. Depending on what type of damage the boss is doing, we can swap it to defensive talismans, such as Dragon Crest Great Shield Talisman to increase physical damage negation, or Golden Braid to increase holy damage negation. We use Thorny Correct Tier to boost our consecutive damage. The second tier can be Blood-Sucking Correct Tier for 20% damage increase, or Opaling Heart Tier for damage negation. We use Green Burst Crystal Tier to allow more stamina regen. Very quick scan through the gear looks like this. The recommended stats for a level 150 character are 50 Vigor, 14 Mind is what my starting class gives me by default, 27 Endurance as the power stance and stamina hungry, 16 Strength and 15 Dexterity to just meet the weapon's requirement. We wear medicines prosthesis, so it will be 20 Dexterity in total, 25 points in Faith, cast the Golden Wall and Blessing Spoon. We don't need any point in Intelligence. And lastly, 75 points in Arcane to maximize our weapon damage. We drink our Physic and cast the Blessing Spoon to give us some HP regen. We cast the Golden Wall, then apply Sabuku to inflict self-bleed. And we do it on both weapons. Drink Blood Boil Aromatic for offense, or Iron Jar for defense. Refill FP and HP and we're ready for the fight. We also have Manania's Great Rune activated to get HP back when we attack after getting any damage. Some final thought. It is actually a good idea to have one of each weapon in each hand if you don't have two cross Naginatas yet. Also check out this video for a recommended level 200 character for NG plus 7. Please leave your comment below if you want to see the redone fight. Finally, I will leave you with the Fire Giant fight to see how quickly this build can melt huge HP down. And another fight in DLC with Putrescent Knight, who is immune to bleed, but we still handle it very well. Like the video, subscribe to keep us going. Thanks for watching. Number 2. The new Claws of Night weapon in the DLC is insane. When Renana is pulling out her stance, we came in and dealt 14k damage in like 2 seconds. Even more, we did no mercy to this golden hippo. In just a few seconds, we did 21k damage. What is absolutely insane is that Mesmer didn't really get a chance to do anything in phase 2. We did a whopping 30k plus damage in like 2 seconds to send him away. Oh my god! The build uses the brand new claw in the DLC, Claws of Knights. We got this weapon right before the Mother of the Fingers boss fight by killing an invader. It is a bit tedious to get, but it's absolutely worth it. The key thing of this weapon is that the claw doesn't scale with intelligence at all, but it does magic damage. Only scaling with dexterity at B as the maximum level makes it very easy to build around. The scaling has made this claw a beast. Even more is that the magic portion of the damage can easily be boosted by Magic Scorpion Charm and Magic Shrouding character tier. For the boss fight, we need to learn to wait for the right opportunity to attack. And when we attack super fast and continuously in a few seconds to take advantage of our buffs. For open field exploration, this claw has a weapon skill which does ranged AoE damage. This is super nice, so we can attack from the remote, and when the mob comes close, we take them down really fast using only our light attack button. A very quick scan through the gears looks like this. We use a +10 Claws of Light. Any seal without leveling can work for this build. We put Maddening Hand in the offhand to further boost our damage when we get Madness. It works even without meeting its required stats. We use Black Dumpling Mask to get 10% damage increase when Madness happens. The new DLC, Rakshasa's Armor, Glove and Boots to further increase our damage. We can use the new Blood-Sucking Character tier to increase our damage by losing some of our HP continuously. On the safer side, we can use Magic Shrouding Character tier so that we don't lose HP unless we got hit. Another tier is the Thorny Character tier to buff our consecutive damage. As for talismans, we use Millicent's Prosthesis and Rotten Wind Sword Insignia to heavily buff our consecutive damage. Magic Scorpion Charm boosts our magic portion of the damage by 12%. Aged One's Exaltation increases our damage when Madness happens. It is optional to use or even swap to Dragon Crest Greater Shield Talisman or any defensive talisman based on the situation. The recommended stats for a level 150 character are 50 Vigor, 14 Mind, 29 Endurance. We need a lot of endurance to make sure we have enough stamina to not stop our attack. If our starting class has 8 strength, that would be enough. We have 75 points in dexterity to maximize our damage output. 80 is shown here simply because we wear Millicent's Prosthesis. 33 points in faith to be able to cast the Hall of Shabriri. No point is needed for either intelligence or arcane. We cast the Hall of Shabriri multiple times until we get Madness. Then we refill FP and cast the Golden Ball. Optional to swap the Aged One's Exaltation Talisman to any one of the defensive talismans before the fight. Do you want to play with the new claws in the DLC? Lastly, I would leave you with the full length of Mesmer's boss fight. Like, comment and sub, keep us going. Thanks for watching. Number 1. Impenetrable Thorns is a new thorn sorcery in the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC a lot of folks are talking about. I tried the thorn sorcery in the base game and the damage was just meh. However, when I took this new sorcery to fight the old bosses in the base game, one cast can deal more than 10k damage, and most bosses ended up being killed just in 1 or 2 shots. This is ridiculous, and it just trivializes the game. Try it before it gets nerfed. The weapon we're using the new staff from the DLC, which is the Maternal Staff plus 25. This staff actually scales with both Intelligence and Arcane. I think the Intelligence and Arcane both add the Sorcery Scaling, and Arcane can help the Bleed proc as well. So if you don't really have the staff, I think that's okay. You can use the traditional like Lucette Glintstone staff to have even higher sorcery scaling when you pump points into the intelligence. So later on you can see in the Elden Beast fight who is actually immune to bleed, and we deal damage, very high damage. So if you just focus on damage with less bleed, that should be fine. Speaking of the Elden Beast fight, we can actually ride the horse in the fight. It is for real, guys. And I believe you can use you can also use another staff, which was nerfed in the new patch, which is Albinoric staff, which also scales with both intelligence and arcane. But you can use that one as well. But just to be aware, that one has been nerfed in the patch. And another staff we're using is the Staff of the Beauty. So this one we actually don't have any upgrade on it. So this we just hold this in the offhand because this one actually provides enhancement and boosted damage for Thorn sorcery. Another weapon I use a rapier here, so any like thrusting sword can work here. The reason to use this one is just to put Seppuku Ash of War on it, so we can bleed ourselves before the fight, get the damage buff from the White Mask and the Lord of Blood's Exaltation. So using this classical combo, we got 30% damage increase at the beginning of the fight. And any seal can actually work since we're scaling with Arcane. So this seal is just to cast the Golden Ball and Bow of Chivalry if you want to use it, and nothing else for this build. And then White Mask as our helmet, and then we use Alberich set because this robe actually strengthens Stone Sorcery, and the same thing for the bracer. It also increased the Stone Sorcery, and actually for the boots, it doesn't say it's increased the Stone Sorcery damage, so I'm not sure. If you don't care about that, you can just put any heavy armor, for example, with our 15 endurance, you can actually put like a pretty heavy armor on it if you want more defense. And for talisman, we use Lord of Blood's Exaltation for increased damage when bleed happen. You can use Seppuku to inflict soft bleed at the beginning of the fight, and also the sorcery impenetrable swords can also trigger bleed during the fight. This is pretty neat to use. And then you can put another one, Graven Mass Talisman, to increase the potential of the sorceries and the smaller version of that. And also a Magical Scorpion Charm to further increase the damage. And for the tiers, we're using Intelligence, Sprouting Intelligence, not Crystal tier, to boost our intelligence, further scaling, increase the scaling on the sorcery damage, and then also Magic Shrouding correct tier. As for the DLC, you definitely would like to put more defense on it, so definitely you can change Magic Scorpion tier, Scorpion Charm into a Dragon Crest Grace Shield Talisman to boost the physical damage negation. And you can also reduce, because this one only provides 4% increase in damage. You can easily change this into something like this one, boost all non-physical damage. This is also a new talisman from the DLC, a +3 version of it. For a 150 level character, I would recommend to put 50 points into Vigor, because when we cast our sorcery, it costs our blood, it costs our HP as well. Even though it's just a very small portion of it, and because in the DLC, the monsters hit really hard, so I would put 50, even 60 into Vigor to be just safe. And 16 points in mine is just way more than enough. You can just use the default 14, such as if you are use Prophet as the starting class. And then 15 endurance here is more than enough during the fight, and also allow us to comfortably wear some armor. Strength is just by default, we don't need any point there. If you use any of the straight sword, or sorry, the thrusting sword, to use Seppuku, just pay attention to the requirement of that weapon. For instance, in my case, I use a rapier, which require 20 dexterity, so that's why I already have 20 dexterity there. And the intelligence, I recommend 45, and we're using a intelligent, not crystal tier, to further increase this into 50%. And the face 25 to just to be able to cast the Golden Ball, and Arcane 55 as well. So this increase bleed proc rate and also further increase the sorcery scaling damage. And then if you are at a much higher level, you can put more point into Vigor, make that 60, and then you can pump point into both intelligence and Arcane. And then you can further increase endurance to wear heavy armor in the DLC to be safer. As for the buffs, for all of the boss fight footage in the video, we're just drinking our physic, cast the Golden Ball, cast the Bow of Chivalry, and then put Seppuku on, and then refill our HP and those FP. So this is not really heavy buffed. Now relax and enjoy the fights. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to keep us going. What? Oh. One shot Godfrey? Wow, this spell is broken. No way! This spell need to be nerfed for sure. One shot everything in the game. Number. Okay. Look at this. Oh, huh? This two already? What? Oh, hey. Calm down. That's it? Fire giant? This is so good. This is unbelievable.
Stolen.
That's it.
To become Elden.
Oh, this becomes a one-hit build or what? Oh, I forgot even to dodge. I was just so excited about look at the damage. And then what? Then he's gone then. Okay, of course. Rebuff. That. Okay. No attack. I guess. We can try this and no. That is the horse. Despite but how to jump. Ooh! Ooh, double jump, nice. And we can do what? Where is him? He will do that. No. Just press down. Oh, one more. Where is him? Oh. No FP. Okay. But we got him before he's doing the Elden stars. Alright. As you can see, they're bleed immune, but this is still pretty OP.